Hey, it's Cooper here. Another episode of My Opinion. And kind of interesting was talking to some youth individuals under the age of 23. And I've made a statement in the past of self-identification and saying, well, if I went to all-white schools, which I did, went to an all-white college predominantly, which I did, and identify myself as a white person, does the public have to see me as white? So an individual friend of mine said, so I made that comment again to somebody else, and so they said, so you're transracial. And so it was funny because in a conversation later on in the next couple of days, these kids had brought to my attention that there was a statement of an individual that is transracial. I'm like, okay, so transracial. Why on the planet would anybody choose to want to be a person with melanin? Because of what purpose? Now I remember the lady from the pretended to be a black person with the NAACP. That was unique. And you have a lot of wannabe individuals that want to be rock stars or whatever, pop artists or that kind of thing. I've seen that. Or you have the mimicking behavior from many of the individuals that are just mimicking behavior. I get that too. Because but to identify. Okay, so if I see myself identification-wise as such, but the general public is not going to identify me that way because the general public is going to identify me with what they see, regardless of how I identify myself, or regardless of how I speak, regardless of how I think, regardless of what I do, my mannerisms, that's not going to matter. Because when a person looks at you, they have the right to what they see. So when they see you, they're going to identify you in whatever category that they mentally have been trained to category. Whether they're looking at a man and he's dressed as a female, or they're looking at a female and she's dressed as a man, or they're looking at a female, she looks like a man, or if you're looking at a gal or guy with red hair, they might assume that they're Irish. You look at a guy or gal that has German features, they might assume that they're German. Or they might assume that a person that's darker complected as Italian or French or Mexican or black. So when a person sees somebody, they're going to identify them with what they think or what they feel. So, but that person's not in the wrong in the identification of what they see, think, or feel. So in today's society, everybody's gotten so gun-ho tied up in, well, you have to adjust your thinking process to what I think or feel. That's totally wrong. One, we have the right of free speech. Two, we have the right of self-identification. Three, we have the right of how we feel. And each person has that right. So just because you have a thinking process or feeling, you don't have the right to impose all your thinking processes and feelings on me. You don't have that right. You don't have the right. Whoever you choose to have a relationship with, that is your right. But you do not have the right to tell me that I like your relationship, or I like you as a person, or I like what you say or feel. You don't have the right to tell me that. You have the right to say we disagree. You have the right to disagree with me. You have the right to identify with how you identify. But you also have the right to listen or not listen. So when I talk to my son about bullying, son, don't listen. You have the right to mute. You have the right to say I don't care. You have the right to say I walk away. So when a person says that transracial, if I were going to choose to be a race, I would choose to be the majority, which is white, regardless of what they want to panic people and say that the white majority is going to be taken over by the minority by 2019, or actually it was 2018 back when I was teaching the class. It hasn't happened yet. You want to know why? Because guess what? The majority would have to stop having children 25 years ago for the minority populations to even catch up. For them to even catch up. So it's never going to happen. So stop with that fear. And stop with that fear propaganda. It will never happen in anyone's lifetime. Because otherwise the majority population would have to stop. Totally stop having children. Not a single one anywhere on the planet in order for the minority populations to catch up. Just saying. So, with that said, the transracial question. Yep, well, there's a lot of things. I mean, I went to all-white school, so guess what? Everybody I know, I had Bruce Wilson and Wayne Gladden. That's it, my school. That was all the three of us. The only black kids there. You go to college. In my degree, I am the only one that has graduated in the degree because of restrictions from a professor, but at my school, all white. So when you look at the definition of what people choose to, no, it's what they're exposed to. That doesn't change the person of who you are. It's just what you're exposed to. If you're exposed to running around to the clubs and listening to rock and roll, you like rock and roll. If you're exposed to the clubs where you're running around listening to Prince and dance music, you like dance music. If you do the combination of both, myself included, you like the combination of both. Or if you had a lot of friends that listen to country western, I listen to country western, I have no problem with it. Heavy metal, okay, like it. All the genres. Why? Because of exposure. It has nothing to do with one thing or the other. It has to do with exposure. So as people expose themselves to more people, they become more understanding of people. So when you look at the question of color and the problems of color and race, the hard part about it is the restrictions that keep getting imposed on those that don't understand the restrictions. When you've never been restricted, you don't understand the restrictions. And the cool side is not always the cool side. But anyway, the question is there any point in time where the understanding will be there, where those who don't have the restriction will listen so that there's an even understanding? You have those that have gotten to a political situation where they're able to speak their piece, and the reason why they're able to speak their piece is because they're being condescending. If they weren't being condescending, they wouldn't have a platform to speak on, guaranteed. As soon as you have a positive platform to speak on, the media sources don't pick you up. Just like myself, running for president on the Common Sense Party. Why? Because nobody else is. It's just my opinion.